Ladies and gentlemen, family and friends, scholars and dignitaries, welcome to another episode. Welcome to my world. So, a lot of people are on a self-destructive emotional roller coaster and they don't know how to get off. If you stay with me for a few minutes, I'll share the best ways to stop it and the most proven ways to regain control of your life. So, let me ask you something. Have you ever said or done anything that you were ashamed of and later said you knew better but just lost control? Have you ever just blown up and started screaming, or lost it and started crying at the worst possible time, or become so anxious you froze and couldn't give a clear, coherent response? Have you ever known anyone who's tripping over their own emotions, where their emotions are amplified, exaggerated, confusing, or confounding, or where they build up into an almost uncontrollable rage or anxiety, even having a panic attack with very little provocation and seemingly for no reason? And do you know people who overreact, where you feel as if you have to walk on eggshells or the slightest trigger can set them off? Well, feelings are very real and very human, but occasionally for everyone they become intense and powerful, and occasionally we lose control of ourselves because of the intensity and power of these feelings. Now, this is serious. It's very serious. Families have been torn apart because someone lost control of their feelings. People have been killed because someone lost control of their feelings. The police call it crimes of passion. Wars have started because someone lost control of their feelings. Emotional turmoil is one of the most common yet unrealized causes of social stress. The key to peace and civilization is to control our feelings so they do not control us, to learn to control our thoughts, our words, attitudes, and behaviors. Let me say that again. The key to a peaceful society, a culture of enlightenment, is to control our feelings so they do not control us, to control our thoughts, words, attitudes, and behaviors. But it isn't easy. It's almost like we're puppets being manipulated by our emotions, and we can totally lose control. Now, everyone has feelings, but emotions fluctuate both in type and in intensity. Many experience them powerfully, including anger, anxiety, grief, panic, depression, even rage. Emotions fluctuate, sometimes greatly. They may all of a sudden grow much more intense or last longer than normal, or may otherwise be out of proportion to the circumstances. But the way we react to situations, the ability to stay flexible and behave in positive and effective ways, even when we are challenged by incredible bouts of negative emotions, is at the heart of emotional intelligence. And what we're talking about here is the normal and mild lability most people experience, the minor mood swings, although intense, rather than the pathological levels needing treatment and medication. Most often, these mood swings are when someone is experiencing a more emotional or hypersensitive circumstance, or something that they're not prepared to handle, or something that is a hot button issue for a person. Here, he or she may have difficulty controlling their emotions. For instance, have exaggerated feelings, become easily upset, cry for little reason, or become intensely angry. One often hears someone say at this point, quote, "You're making a mountain out of a molehill," or "calm down, there's no reason to get upset," or even "chill." We live in a society where many of us have learned emotional responses which are self defeating in nature. We live and act by impulses, by reacting and overreacting, by wanting immediate gratification, with a sense of self righteousness, with an attitude that I'm always right, and by neither seeing nor accepting self responsibility. We don't even see that often we are the ones who provoke and draw negative reactions and repercussions back on ourselves. I've done it more than once. And there are a lot of people that create negative reactions and repercussions that fall back on them and come back to haunt them. As we mature, we learn better ways of coping and problem solving based upon thought, logic, enculturation, and experience. Or rather, we should. But even adults get intense and unmanageable feelings that affect behavior. Usually, one's inappropriate language, remarks, or negative self defeating behavior is based upon intense emotions, and one excellent example of this is divorce itself. Divorce is most often a consequence of emotions uncontrolled over the long term, chronic emotional turmoil, whereas the primary difference between functional and dysfunctional families is the ability to manage feelings and channel them in a positive manner. And when you think of someone who can control their emotions and do not let feelings drive them, we often think of doctors who practice in a professional, if not sterile, manner. We think of lawyers who are stoic. We think of accountants, people who are focused on the math and logic. And we think of police officers who face high pressure situations on a continual basis and yet handle them with little or no emotional outbursts. So, how did they learn to manage and control their feelings? Through training and practice, and a few other tips and strategies. Now, there are literally hundreds of books out there on emotional intelligence and how to control and manage your feelings, and they do identify a wide variety of strategies to help control emotions, and I want to share a few of those tips with you now. But first, I believe that this needs to be a three-step process. The first step is to work on developing high quality and positive relationships, and please avoid negative situations. Avoid enhancing negative situations and avoid provoking situations that are negative and toxic and which creates or draws negative reactions or repercussions. Of course, we can't always avoid negative situations, but the more we do, the greater our chances to avoid all the drama that accentuates emotional turmoil. The second step for emotional control is self assessment. As they say, think before you speak. Think about your feelings. Where are you right now? Gauge them. What will happen if you overreact? Pause. Strive to control your thoughts. Demonstrate empathy, thinking of others, praise others, forgive and forget, and be careful about emotional self sabotage. But be aware of how you are feeling and do not overreact emotionally or impulsively. Aquinas said that, quote, man is a rational animal. Our animalistic instincts can be controlled and even subdued with rational thought. Practice it. And the third step is learning how to control your feelings. Now, can they be controlled? Or rather, can the expression of your feelings be consistently shaped and expressed in a beneficial manner rather than in an overwhelming, negative, or abusive manner? The answer is yes, with practice, and in some cases, with a lot of practice. But I need to caution on one more dynamic first. You have to want to prioritize emotional management, to own self control, and simply, some people don't. You see, it feels good to explode for some people. For others, they like the power that strong feelings emit. And others love the control that intense emotions give you over other people. In other words, people are getting some level of satisfaction out of emotional turmoil and don't want to forsake that even for better and more rewarding relationships. In other words, some people just love the drama and have no intention of giving it up. But for the others who sincerely want to try, here are 10 major strategies to control emotional expression. First, breathe deeply. Try a breathing exercise for 3 minutes to reduce emotionality. Try yoga or other relaxation methods. Breathing helps us to center ourselves and to self regulate, and it's one of the most naturally calming methods around. Second, use delays and distractions to reduce impulses. So try doing something else for a while that will take the emotional heat out of the situation until you can deal with the issues in a more rational and constructive manner. Take a break, get a cup of coffee, go for a short walk. Third, use the thinking part of your brain to exert influence on the emotional part of your brain. Focus on the issue, not the emotion. Stay composed in difficult moments, which gives you the opportunity to stay optimistic and positive. I knew one man, a PhD, and nothing would rile him. He never once lost composure. He approached every conversation and every situation as if it were a logical problem needing an analytical solution, and he would dissect and focus on the problem without any emotional baggage at all. Clearly, he would debate, and very well, but he would never argue or squabble or bicker. He would separate the issues involved from the emotions, from the people problems. Try to be supportive, analytical, and use your listening skills. For example, quote, I want to understand. Be clear. What are you trying to say? Fourth, use humor. A person can't hold two major feelings at the same time. If you focus on anger, you will be angry. In fact, your anger will grow. If you focus on something humorous, your anger will dissipate. Humor will replace any other strong emotion at the time. Now, don't laugh at the other person, but just watch how anger dissolves with humor. Keep it light. Fifth, try to control your outburst. If you're feeling angry, wait at least 10 seconds before you say anything. If you're feeling very angry, wait at least 100 seconds before you respond. It gives your brain a chance to settle and reset, and the truth is that we only need about 10 or 15 seconds for this to work and for the clarity of our thinking skills to resurface over our emotions again. Or even distract yourself. Do anything that works for you to control your impulses. Sixth, think clearly and stay focused, especially when others are highly emotional. Do not be drawn in to their drama. Don't buy into it. It's not yours to own. Keep your impulsiveness under control no matter what you're feeling. Don't respond instinctively or impulsively. Stop, pause, think, respond appropriately. Seventh, have a social network of your own, a good support system. Even seek counseling or a self help or support group like Emotions Anonymous to help you with your emotional issues. Eighth, set a personal goal that, as a general characteristic, your personal style of interaction with others are and will be positive, mutually functional, and beneficial. This is the person you want to be. Ninth, develop your spirituality. This is very important because it stresses the positive nature of your life, and seek that your purpose in life is consistent with your understanding of your higher power. And 10th, learn detachment. Learn how to detach yourself emotionally. Do not become personally invested in this argument. It is not worth winning an argument if it means losing a friend. Again, emotional intelligence is the ability to manage and control your own emotions, to understand how others are feeling, and even to be able to shape and influence how others are feeling. People with high levels of emotional intelligence self assess and know themselves reasonably well, are able to almost always control their thoughts, emotions, and behaviors, are more positive and self motivated, tend to show more empathy with the feelings and problems of others, and tend to use social skills in a more routine and habitual manner, almost without thinking, as it becomes natural and normal to them. And finally, the benefits of emotional management cannot be overstated. It helps you overcome difficult situations, to express yourself clearly and warmly. It builds better relationships, helps keep your emotions under control, and helps avoid chaotic thinking. It reduces conflict and improves relationships with everyone in your life, bosses and co-workers, friends, your spouse or partners, and especially your children. It increases your empathy for other people and facilitates responses that help in cooperation and collaboration. It helps us to stay calm and perform in a creative and effective manner, even in high pressure workplaces and other stressful environments. And emotional intelligence helps us to assert our own needs and interests while remaining considerate and respectful of others. Emotional intelligence is vitally important for social competence. It's important for attaining your life goals, and it's important for establishing high quality and mutually satisfying relationships that will serve you well throughout life. And as important, your emotions and emotional approach affects someone else's reactions. So emotional intelligence requires us to be mindful of that effect and acknowledge that we have an effect and impact upon others' thoughts and moods and behavior. With mindfulness, we can actually help shape how others think and feel. So, emotional regulation is a very significant function in human life. We're not born with that ability, but we learn it as we grow and refine it as we mature. Every day, people are continually exposed to a wide variety of potentially negative stimuli. If we respond in inappropriate, extreme, or with unchecked emotional reactions, it certainly would impede our fit within a family, within a peer group, within a workplace, and even within society. Perhaps the best quote I've ever heard was from St. Francis de Sales, who said, quote, "Do everything quietly and in a calm spirit. Do not lose your inner peace for anything whatsoever, even if your whole world seems upset." Hey, be safe, be well, practice serenity, and may God bless.